Hey guys, welcome back to the Gregorio Girls channel. My name's Shauna and today we're going to be talking about brushes. So I have a few of my favorite brushes here that I'm just going to go through, tell you guys why I like them and like how you use them. I feel like a lot of times in our tutorials I kind of just tell you what brush I'm using, but don't really go into why I'm using it or why I like it, what it does, and what its function is basically. Basically the same thing. So I figured I would just sit down and solely film a video on brushes and hopefully give you guys some recommendations and some good information about how to choose brushes if you are kind of just starting out with makeup and looking at all these brushes that all these different companies have and just being like, what do I do with these? Alright, so let's just get right into this video, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and follow us both on Instagram, and with that, let's just get right into it. Alright, so I figured that we'll start with more like complexion and face brushes and then move into eye brushes. I have a lot of favorite eye brushes, but not as many favorite base brushes just because I feel like a lot of them are very similar. And also, a disclaimer, the majority of these brushes are going to be Morphe brushes. I love Morphe brushes, they're affordable, they're made well, and you really can't beat that. So if you are just starting out with makeup, I definitely would check out Morphe brushes. I will link their website down below. So I don't have a favorite foundation brush because my favorite thing to use with foundation is just a wet beauty sponge. But the base brushes that I am going to talk about are more for contour and highlighting. So this first brush is the Morphe R2 brush. You can see I obviously use it for bronzer. And sorry, a lot of these brushes are going to be dirty because I just filmed a tutorial on this look. So this is a Morphe R2 brush. So I use this for my bronzer, obviously, like I said. And what I like about this is it's just a pretty big brush. So if I'm not doing like a super cut contour and I'm just kind of going like really quick and everyday look, I can just go like this. I can just like sweep this right through my cheeks and then like right on my temples and forehead and be done. And because it's so big and fluffy, I feel like it just blends out the bronzer really well, but it also does it really fast. So I don't have to like keep blending. I can just go like do 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 do. And I'm out the door. Now the next brush is the Morphe M437 brush. I like this one for powder contour. So if I'm really trying to contour my face, I will just put a little bit of bronzer on it and in circular motions, like start right back here and blend it up and out. I feel like it's fluffy enough that it'll blend it out and kind of make your bronzer look airbrushed and not too concentrated, but it's not too big where it's just going to go all over and bronze your face instead of really focus it and contour it right in the hollows of your cheeks. I am not the world's best contourer, and I feel like this brush really helps me like color in the lines, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is just to like keep it right in the hollows of my cheeks and really like carve out my contour instead of just bronzing it like I would with this brush and having it a little less focused like right in those hollows of my cheeks. How many times am I going to say that? So if you are just kind of learning on how to contour, I would use this. I typically don't use this for like up here. I really like this one just because I feel like for my head shape, it kind of fits in there and I can like bronze my temples, but just for like contouring my cheeks, I really like this brush. And I would recommend it if you are just kind of trying to figure out contouring. This one's really easy to use. Okay, so next I have the Morphe M510 brush. Now, if you watch any of Jaclyn Hill's videos, you know that she says this is the highlighting brush, and I totally agree. I used to do my highlight with a fan brush. I know that fan brushes a lot of times are pretty much dedicated to placing that highlight right on your cheekbones, but when I saw Jaclyn Hill recommend this for highlight, I got it and I must say I really like it. I think it just really sweeps on the color really nice. It really helps you just build your highlight. As opposed to a fan brush, I feel like just kind of getting it on like that thin fan shape, I feel like it was kind of harder. Like I would kind of just get like a line instead of like a nice like highlight. It would look kind of like just a small line on my face, and it didn't look as natural as when I applied it with this brush. So again, definitely agree with Jaclyn. Definitely think this is an awesome highlight brush. Okay, so next is not a Morphe brush. This is one of the very few that I'm going to mention that is not from Morphe. This is the Luxie 131 mini angled brush, and what I really like this for is nose contouring. So I am like I said, not the best at contouring. I'm really trying to step up my contour game. I really want to get like a nice nose contour going, and I use this brush when I cream contour my nose. So what I do is I use the Wet n Wild cream contour stick, so I'll just like dip this right on the top of it and just kind of like go right up my nose and just like really like kind of make that little like ski slope kind of thing right down my nose. And this really helps because it is angled like that. It does just kind of hug like the contours of your nose, but it is also pretty fluffy, so I can blend out the contour and not just have like two lines down my face. So yeah, not much to say about this, but just that it's a great nose contour brush. Anything that's like small and angled but a little bit fluffy is going to help you blend out your contour but still get a nice like shape going. Okay, so moving on to eye brushes. Now, disclaimer, I use so many eye brushes and my weakness is blending brushes. So just to show you, and I'm not going to mention all these in the video because it would take forever, and I'm not going to recommend that you need 150 million blending brushes. Like, you don't. I'm just over the top and a little bit extra, and I feel like when you're kind of like a makeup junkie, you just acquire all these brushes and you feel like you need them, but you really don't. You really can live without, you know, a bajillion eye brushes. But just to show you my problem and basically my addiction, I have some of these. This is even just a few of them. I have more. I have doubles of some of them, and you can see the majority of them are dirty, so I do use them. But I'm not going to say that you need, again, like, you don't need a bajillion blending brushes, or you just don't need a bajillion brushes, period. You don't even have to feel like you have to go out and buy all of these brushes that I mentioned. Just to show you, you know, a lot of times with eye looks, I just feel that blending brushes are the most important because you obviously want your makeup to look well blended. But anyway, onto the eye brushes that I have here currently. So first, let's start with eyebrows. So this is an Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush. I want to say it's number 18, but I can't be certain because the words have rubbed off because I use it so much. But this brush is really great for brow pomades. So Dip Brow, Benefit Ka-Brow. So this is nice because it's nice and thin and compact and angled. So you can really just kind of carve out your brow, but you can also flip it. I don't know if you can see that, but you can flip it this way and really like flick up in like hair-like strokes to make your brows look nice and soft and feathery and hair-like and real and not too harsh. So I definitely recommend this brush for any type of eyebrow pomade. So I picked just two of my favorite blending brushes because, again, I didn't want to overwhelm anybody who might be a beginner. So the first one is the Morphe M504 brush. What I really like about this is it's big and fluffy, so it really just, you can dip into any transition shade and just get a nice wash of color really easily. Because the brush is so big, it'll blend it out and spread it out really easily, but diffuse it nicely to where it looks well blended. So typically with this brush, I really like it when I'm just doing an everyday look, and sometimes I don't do a full eye look. I'll literally even just take some bronzer, dip this in it, and just run it through my crease to kind of contour my eyes and give them a little bit of dimension. But again, like I said, not doing a full-blown like eyeshadow look like what I'm wearing now. Definitely love this brush for my very first transition shade with any look. I just dip into the lightest shade, wash it like kind of right all up just under my brow bone, and then start building my color from there. So again, that's the Morphe M504 brush. So next we have the Morphe R37 brush. So this one's just a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller, but is good for like that second transition shade, just going in and building that color. And I like this brush so much that I have a double of it. But this brush is just really good because the hairs are pretty long. This is going to be something that, again, you want to use in some of your first transition shades. The brush isn't as tapered to where it's really going to focus it right in a certain like spot in your eye. It's definitely something that when you want to blend and not keep it so focused and compact like in your crease, this is the brush for that, just like this one is. So I definitely wouldn't use either of these if I was trying to work like tightly in my crease, because these aren't detail brushes. They're not going to keep the color focused and concentrated. It's going to blend them and diffuse them up because they are so fluffy. Alright, so next brush, I just feel like everybody probably has a brush like this, or if you don't, you definitely just kind of need a brush like this. This is the Morphe M167 brush. So it's just like a regular kind of like flat paddle brush that you just use for packing eyeshadow on. Not much to say about this, but I just think it's, you know, a brush that everyone should have in their collection because the majority of looks that people do are just, you know, a shadow all over, or like a smoky eye with the same color all over, or, you know, the three-step look with a transition, the lid shade, and then something on the outer corner. You're going to need this type of brush to just pack your shadow on. So again, that's the Morphe M167 brush. So this next brush is the Morphe E18 brush. So this is kind of a dense like pencil brush. So why I like this first and foremost is this is something that I really use to kind of smoke shadow along my lash line. I think the color just kind of deposits like right on top. It keeps it nice and concentrated and you just get a nice smoke all around when you do that. You can also use pencil brushes to build a halo eye. So you can take the color and kind of just dab it on the outer corners of your eye and then right in the inner corner. This, for me and my eye shape, is a little bit too big to do that. My eyes are kind of small, so if I was trying to deposit a dark color to kind of build a halo eye look, this might be a little too big to fit into my inner corner and it might get a little messy on me. But if you do have a little bit more eyelid space, this is probably something that will work for you if you are trying to build a halo eye. Okay, so next you guys have seen me use probably all of these brushes and mentioned them before, but when I do cut creases, you guys hear me rave about this brush, and this is the Morphe M213 brush. So just a tiny little flat paddle brush. Like I said, I use this for cut creases. So I like it for cut creases because it's small and it's easily controllable. So again, it has like that rounded shape for when you are carving out your crease. But I just dip this into my concealer and do like small little strokes. Because it's so small and flat, when I ever mess up on my cut creases, which is all the time, I feel like I can just kind of go in and correct it. And it just gives you so much control. You're not trying to handle this big brush on your eyelid and make these big strokes where you can, you know, mess up or whatever and it's harder to clean up. I feel like this is just so nice for just trying to carve out your crease like just nice and easy and like no stress. I feel like this is like my no stress cut crease brush. And then lastly, I have the Morphe 432 brush. This is just kind of like a flat and stiff brush. And my favorite thing to do with this brush is to smoke eyeshadow close to my lash line and then also stamp either like a matte brown or a matte black shadow on my top lash line as like eyeliner, but nothing that's as harsh as liquid liner. I feel like this just kind of gives you like a nice smoke at the base of your lashes, and that kind of creates the effect of your lashes looking a little bit fuller and a little bit thicker. So I love this brush for that. I pretty much do that type of trick on any everyday look. I just kind of do a few mattes all over my eye and then take a matte brown and just stamp it right at the base of my lashes. And I feel like when I put my mascara on, it just makes it look like I have like 10 times the amount of lashes that I actually do. Okay guys, that is it for this brush video. I hope it helped. I hope I gave you some information without overwhelming you too much. So I will link each of the brushes that I mentioned down in the description box if you are interested in checking them out. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Devin and I post every Sunday. Like this video and follow us both on Instagram. I'm at Shauna Greggs and Devin is at DevDevGreggs. And with that, we will see you in our next video.